The Indians won the toss of the coin prior to the other activities a few moments ago, so they will receive, defend the goal to our right, which is the south end of the playing field, and the Cardinals will be kicking off. And here we go, the kickoff, a long high kick taken in by the Indians inside the 5-yard line. The Indian receiver, number 10, Brandon Oman, brings it out across the 5, the 10, the 15, and is brought down by the Cardinals 10 from their own 24-yard line. The quarterback, of course, is Jay Musser, and we'll pick up the other Indians on offense momentarily. Musser back to pass, fires one in the right flat, complete. I believe that was Eric Weinert. No, I'm sorry, Thong Buffon, number 3, was the recipient of Jay Musser's pass. Okay, 2nd and 6 now for the Indians, operating from their own 28. As we said, Musser is the quarterback, and lined up with Musser, of course, is number 20, Toby Fales, and he gets the handoff from Musser and is met at the line of scrimmage with a jarring tackle by number 56, John Cole. The score in our ball game, we're early in the first quarter, a ball game just getting underway as Musser sends 2 receivers out wide to the left side. Long count by the Indian quarterback, a pitch back to Fales, trying to find some running room around the left side, crosses the 30, gets out to about the 32, perhaps the 33-yard line before the Cardinals rise up and bring him down. And this is a good-sized ball club.
Tremendously large defense on the part of the Bridge City Cardinals.
Fales will be close to a first down, but he's going to be short about a half yard as the officials bring the chains in formation. The Cardinals sending one man back deep, back around his own 30. The Indian punter standing at his own 20, gets a good snap from center, gets his kick away, not too high, not too far downfield. It bounces at the Cardinal 44, takes an Indian roll across the 40, the 35, and the Indians kill it at about the 32-yard line. So not too good a punt, but it gets a good PNG roll. It was the first chance on offense here this evening as they operate with a 1st and 10 from their own 32. And the handoff goes to the trailing back for the Cardinals, and we're going to pick up the, let's see, I believe that was Chad Fassett Cardinals from their own 38. Everybody in tight. The quarterback is Shannon Sanders, and Sanders hands off to number 34 this time, Chad Fassett, who tries to run wide to his left side, but he meets a lot of resistance because about 7 purple-clad Indians meet him at the line of scrimmage and stop him for no.
Really been moving out that Bridge City offensive line.
3rd and 5 after a loss of about a yard as the Cardinals kind of bobbled the ball. I think there was a little mix-up between and the Cardinal punter standing back on his own 20. We have 2 men deep for the Indians, Gaston and Guidry. And it's a high, long punt. It's taken in by Guidry, and as soon as he brings the ball into his chest, he drops to the ground because that's about all he could do. It's pretty slippery as John Moore. This time, Musser has a man split wide to the right side as he hands off to the fullback, I believe it is, and that would either be Heath Hebert or Bryce Tyson. He's going pretty big down there. 2nd and 8 now for the Indians from their own 35 as Musser has his receiver out wide to the right side, looking for that receiver on the right side, and he has him, but he couldn't hang on to the football. Mark Gasson out on the right side. The pass was a little high, and as we said, it's kind of up front. We have Jeff Herford, Joey Sosa, Jim Young, Chris Macon, and Reagan Hawkins. A man in the slot to the left, a wide receiver split wide to the left as Musser drops back to pass, and he's looking for a receiver for a screen pass, but it doesn't work. The Cardinals were all over him, and he attempted a screen pass out to the left side, but it falls incomplete. So for the 2nd time this year, in that last offensive series as well as the first, Weinert was the split end for the Indians, along with Aaron Wilson, the tight end. Another low, short kick bounces at the Cardinal 40, but takes an Indian roll across the 35, the 30, and downed by the Indians at our own 29. No score in our ball game. We're still early in the first quarter. 7 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in this quarter. As Sanders sets up his ball club, hands off to the last man through. That would be Chad Fassett. And he finds a little running room, not too much. The hole closed up very quickly. You feel it. 2nd and 7 now for the Cardinals from their own 32. And before the play can get underway, flags fly. And perhaps we're going to have a penalty against the Cardinals for taking a little too much time. That's the preliminary indication. We'll wait for the official ruling. No, they're going to be penalized 5 yards for it is, or he divides the time with Aaron Wilson. Okay, the Cardinal ball carrier gets the handoff from Sanders. I believe that's Spencer Earl, and he has been at the line of scrimmage, but rolls around to his right and moves out wide to the right side and picks up a couple of more.
And help bring him down.
3rd and 7 for the Cardinals from their own 32 as Sanders splits 2 receivers out wide to the left side. I formation, 2 backs lined up, puts a man in motion to the left side, and hands off to the last back through. That's number 34, Chad Fassett. But Chad Fassett runs into some trouble immediately, and he is dropped for a loss inside the 30, back to the original line of scrimmage around the 29-yard line.
He meets the 230 pounds of the hard charging
at their Indian 35. The Cardinal punter standing at his own 16-yard line gets a good snap and gets a high, long kick going to Guidry at the Indian 38. Guidry feels it and sets sail around the right side, crosses the 45, and is brought down just short of the midfield stripe on the Indian side of the playing field by the Cardinals. But a good run back by Toby Guidry, and he gives the Indians pretty good field position with a 1st and 10 at about the 49.5 on the Indian side of the playing field, but there is a flag on the play. So let's see what all this is about and see if we have to do all this over again or just what's going on. We have no idea. As the officials talk it over with some of the captains from PNG, who, by the way, tonight are Thong Poupon, Danny Gross, Toby Guidry, Eric Weinert moves out wide to the left side. Thong Poupon wide to the right side as Musser hands off to Toby Fales, who follows the left guard and left tackle, and the big center, Jim Young, with some help from Sosa and Herford. They open up a lot of power and a lot of speed. Okay, this time the handoff goes to Heath Hebert, and he tries the left side and gets across the 35 down to about the 34 before the Cardinals bring him down, led by...
So helped on the stop.
Line of scrimmage is the Cardinal 45 as Musser has one man split the right side, everybody in tight, and this time the call goes to Toby Fales, who finds some daylight around the left side. Breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, breaks into the Cardinal secondary across the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. The Cardinals can't catch him. He's into the end zone for a touchdown, and there are no flags, so everything seems to be in order. And Mr. Fales puts the Indians out in front by a score of 6-0 with 4 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the first period of play.
45 yards, Henry.
Good job by the Indian offense. Good blocking up front. Fine run by Toby Fales. Everybody executed just as they should, just as the coaches draw it up. And that puts the Indians out in front by a score of 6-0. Mark Gasson in to attempt the extra point from placement. Ball will be spotted at the 10-yard line. A good snap from center. The ball is down. Gasson puts his toe into it, and it's good. So with 4:34 remaining in the first period of play, our score, the Indians of PNG 7, the Cardinals of Bridge City 0.
Located at 3700 Main Avenue in Grove.
Who tiptoed through the tulips. He was walking right down the sideline for about 30 of those 45 yards.
And now he's acting as a cheerleader. He's trying to get the crowd into it and does so successfully. He lines up his ball club for the kickoff following the Indian touchdown, and Gasson gets a good kick, a high kick. It'll be taken in by the Cardinals at their own 10-yard line, and straight up the middle come the Cardinals. Some good blocking, and Chad Fassett breaks into the clear. He gets a couple of good blocks and moves to his left across the Cardinal 30, the 35, the 40, and finally the Indians catch him from behind at the Cardinal 45-yard line. So a good effort, a good run back by Chad Fassett of Bridge City. Redrick, Jason Lang, Jeremy Morrell, and the ends are Todd Minner and Charlie Miller. All right, the Cardinals get the call. Chad Fassett once again, check that, number 44 is Spencer Earl, gets the call from Sanders, the Cardinal quarterback. He tries to body in doing it, but I want to tell you something, he stopped the play. He wiped them out. 2nd and 10 now for the Cardinals, and before they can get the play away, flags fly once again. Perhaps too much time, but we'll wait for the official indication.
That seems to be it. Illegal procedure probably called against them in 4A this year.
Bridge City has some good athletes in just about every position. They're a fine ball club. A quick pass to the right side, complete to number 83, Todd Minner, as Minner takes the ball in at about the 41, but he is dropped immediately by number 46, I believe it was, 43. Sanders has receivers split to either side. 2 backs lined up behind the Cardinal quarterback. He puts a man in motion to the left side, number 7. And he's dropped. dropping back to pass. He fires one out to the left side, intended for number 81, Charlie Miller, but the pass is low. Miller had no chance for it, so it'll go as an incompletion. Very nice. The Cardinal punter standing back at his own 29 with his right foot bare and gets a high, long kick going down to Toby Guidry at the Indian 25, and Guidry moves across the 30 to 35, looking for some blocking, gets a couple, but the Cardinals break through and stop him just short of the 40-yard line. The officials are going to spot it at about the 38. And 45 seconds remaining in the first period of play. The Indians out in front by a score of 7-0. They own the football. First and 10 from their own 37 as Musser calls the signals. Hands off to Heath Hebert, who follows the right guard and right tackle over the right side and gets short yardage out to about the 40. He was following Jim Young and Chris Macon and Reagan Hawkins on the right side. Looking at 2nd and 6 now for the Indians from their own 41. A man in the slot to the left side, a wide receiver to the left side as Musser fakes once and hands off to Mr. Hebert. I'm sorry, that's Toby. Toby fails, and Toby finds a little running room. Not too much, but he does work his way out to the 45 before the Cardinals drop him. 40 seconds remaining in the first period. As we said, the Indians leading by a score of 7-0. And Musser on a keeper rolling to his left side, looking for the first down, but he makes his cut back upfield, and it's a little slippery out there. Just as he makes his cut, he runs into a couple of Cardinals, and I think he's going to be about a yard short of the first down as the official spotted just over the 40 at the, all right. The Indians in punt formation, a short snap, and the ball ends up in the hands of number, let's see, who was that? Number 40, I believe it was, for the Indians.
Who was that purple dress man?
I'm trying to pick up who it was. Was that 40 or 46?
Hank, I want to tell you something. I have to apologize. I was caught.
They retain possession, and they're looking at 1st and 10 now from the Indian 49. As Musser fakes once and fires one over the left side. I believe Eric Weinert. But Eric Weinert and the defender for the Cardinals collided, and the officials very alertly threw a flag and say, no, we can't play that way. That was Hector Osigar. Is it Osigar? Osigar. Okay, I was going to call him Osigara, but Osigar is good enough for me. Ended up being involved, and it's kind of unfair, but that's the way it goes. You got to follow the rules in football. Musser hands off to Toby Fales, and Toby is hit immediately after he receives the handoff from Musser and is stopped for no gain. Actually, a loss of about a yard. Scott Nicholas from the Cardinal 41. Musser has receivers wide to either side and drops back to pass, looking on the right side for Eric Weinert, and the ball is almost picked off by a Cardinal defender. It was a little short. Weinert was further downfield than Musser could reach, so it could have been picked off very easily, but instead it goes as an incompletion. And now the Indians will be looking at 3rd and 10.
Men split wide to the right. That'll be Thon Bouton and Eric Weinert. One man behind the quarterback. Quarterback with a long count. That's Jay Musser. Musser stands up very quickly, flips the ball over to number 33, Weinert. Weinert tiptoeing down the sidelines, breaks one tackle, and then is driven out of bounds by number 50. That would be Mr. Nicholas. Again, Scott Nicholas. He's got to be kin to Jack.
Happy to be sponsoring the efforts of the Port Neches Groves Indians this fall. We salute the administrators, faculty, and students who contribute to making the Port Neches Groves school system one of the state's outstanding school districts. Bina-Ona Chemical Company is committed to the development of our leaders of tomorrow, both in academics and athletics.
Like a football player, John, a first name of Biff.
Yeah. Wide to the left is Eric Weinert. Over here on the right-hand side, we've got another man split away. But the ball goes immediately to Toby Fales, right up smack dab the middle. Fales is following the blocks of Joey Sosa, Jim Young, and Chris Macon as he crosses the 25 to about the 24-yard line, wide to the left. Bouton wide to the right. Two men behind the quarterback. That would be Hebert and Fales. Toby Fales gets the shovel pass. He takes it, has no problems with control. However, he breaks one tackle, sidesteps another, drives across the 25 up to about the original line of scrimmage, maybe no more than a yard for his efforts. It's going to be 4th and yard field goal attempt on the part of Mark Gasson. Bouton will be holding the snap. Gasson puts his toe into it. He approaches the ball. It hits. How close can you get? That is as close as you get. It hit the cross member, ladies and gentlemen, bounced high in the air, and then fell on the opposite side of the goalpost. So, with a tremendous effort on the part of the toe of Mr. Gasson, with 9 minutes, 55 seconds still in this second quarter of play, add 3 to that original score. It's now the PNG Indians. And again, Hank, Toby Fales is saying, come on, folks, let's hear it. And the crowd responds immediately.
He loves to play the part of cheerleader.
He does.
And it's a lot of fun watching him. He does a great job.
Gasson will kick on the kickoff. It's a scooter, not too high, but hits down. One of the Cardinals hits it and fumbles it, and immediately a whole passel of red and white Cardinals try to vie for the football because the Indians are thundering down there. I think the last man off the stack is Sean Buchanan. Put them wide, right and left. There are 2 backs behind the quarterback for Bridge City. He feeds it to the first man through, and the football is squirts out of his hands. There's a whole lot of attempts to see who really has it, but the officials say it's weighing 230.
Two's number 72s were fighting for the football.
What a contest. The quarterback takes a short snap, takes 2 steps back, fires it to his left, and the man for whom the pass was intended, Kurt Roy, for the Cardinals of Bridge City. The ball is on about the 23-yard line. Sanders trying to get his stalwarts in position. He's having a hard time trying to find a receiver. He decides to fire it right straight over the middle. The man for whom the pass was intended, Todd Minner, finds it slipping right through his fingertips and through his grasp. How they go. Will the Indians hustle and charge it? Yes, they do. The ball bounces once, but into the kicker's hands, and Guidry calls for it, got it. He takes it across the 45 inside Cardinal territory up to about the 42 before he's finally wrestled to the turf by Spencer Earl, and it's from that particular position that
as the game goes on to see the numbers of the Cardinals, because they're wearing white jerseys and they're getting a little muddy already.
I understand. Jay Musser feeds it to number 30, who is Heath Hebert. Hebert in the press box tonight. Okay, here go the Indians back to work. Let's see what happens. It's going to be second and short yardage. However, a lot of activity takes place just between the center and the right tackle, number 30. Thank you very much, Hank. So, first and 10 for Jay Musser's purple and white. In motion, Von Bouton. Musser turns, takes first to one man, going to pass, looks for Weinert, who absolutely stretches to the maximum. It's incomplete. What a tremendous effort on the part of Eric Weinert. The pass was just outside the outstretched fingertips of Weinert. Had he caught that one, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of those television playback type plays. Oh, no doubt about it. Second down. Jay Musser's got him split wide, right and left. This time, all the action right straight up the middle of Main Street, though, and guess who's got it? Heath Hebert. Hebert rockets right into the line and then bounces off like a hard shell, gets a big Weinert wide to the left. Weinert at end, Bouton at slot. 2 men behind the quarterback. That would be Fales and Heath Hebert. But the quarterback going back to pass has a tremendous shot. The end zone is where it's captured, but guess what happened? The pass was a little bit too long thrown, and he could not maintain control until he was outside the end zone, and so the pass goes incomplete. What a tremendous catch by Eric Weinert. What a great pass by the quarterback, Jay Musser. But, ladies and gentlemen, that only goes for extracurricular activity. It will not go into the books except another down was played. So it'll be 4th and still 8 needed for the Indians of PNG operating from the 29 of the Bridge City Cardinals. Same lineup, except we've got 2 men slotted to the left. One behind the quarterback, Jay Musser. Musser turns, flips immediately to Weinert, who turns again and passes on a lateral to Von Bouton. And the flags fly because I do believe that they were 2 forward passes, one behind the other. I think Weinert was a step ahead of the quarterback, so it could not have been a lateral. And they're saying it was a technical foul that is going to be called against P&G.
But I believe it was also intercepted by the Cardinals, John.
Quarterback Sanders splits him wide, right and left. He gives to the first man moving to his left, and I believe it's Bassett, as he, on his efforts, picks up a couple of extra burdens, and they are in the part of Hanks
And Dial in Port Neches, Texas.
Thank you very much, Henry. And it's going to be second, still 10 needed for the Cardinals of Bridge City. Again, the quarterback rolls, turns around, gives to Bassett again. Bassett right behind the blocks of his guard-to-guard, tackles-to-tackle type spread contest, 6 minutes and 3 seconds away from halftime. Sanders again, finding Bassett in the backfield, but Bassett is also found by a whole host of Indians led by Eddie Bird. First man to make the tackle. Then David Hanks is also in there, and Hassan and Guidry standing on their own 35. Miller kicks from his 20. It's a high kick. It's being fielded by Guidry. Guidry calls for a fair catch, picks it up on about the 42 or 43-yard line to the left. Don Bouton will be the split man on the right. Hebert and Fales in the backfield. The ball is given immediately to Hebert. Hebert finding some running room right between tackle and guard on the right-hand side. Crosses the 50 down. A fine run on the part of the runner for P&G. Musser, long count. He gives it to Heath Hebert again. Hebert gets a good block from Toby Fales. Then ducks inside that block, rolls to his left, crosses the 45, picks up the first down.
Problems moving the ball offensively, but it still could be an exciting ball game for the remainder.
Musser brings him up to the line of scrimmage. He's got men split wide right and left, but Toby Fales gets the call and carries the mail on 1st and 10. Operating from the 45, he crosses about 2 yards up the far sideline, wide out. 2 men behind the quarterback. That would be Hebert and Fales. Quarterback rolls to his right. He's looking for someone to pass to. That would be Weinert. And Weinert takes the ball. Beautiful punt into the end zone. Down.
John, actually, Weinert just stole the football away from Hector.
Took it away from him.
Both of them went off. The ball was a little bit underthrown. It was a little bit short. Jay Musser threw a tremendous pass, but both the defender and the receiver, Weinert, had overran it slightly. They had to hesitate. Both of them went up the air for it, and there was a struggle, but Weinert was victorious, came down with the football, and just tiptoed the last 4 or 5 yards into the end zone.
Yes, 40 yards on the pass and run, and Eric Weinert scores another TD for P&G. It's we have a little miscue on the kick, and they almost turned it into something good, as Mark Gasson was not able to get his toe into it simply because the man who was doing the holding could not hang on to the football, and Gasson had to pick it up and find someone to pass to.
National Bank of Mid-County, Highway 365 at Sierra, Port Neches, member FDIC.
Don't forget to patronize those fine sponsors. Toby Fales still whooping it up. Chad Bassett standing on his own 5-yard line directly in front of the goalpost. But the ball goes to the man to his right, who takes it on the 10, moves to the right side, up the sideline, across the 15, across the 20, to about the 22 or 23-yard line, where he's driven to the turf very, very, very crudely at that particular point. Lee West was the ball carrier right at the present time. Let's see what happens.
Corey Babin was the one Cardinal who ran that kickoff back, John.
All right, Bassett gets the shovel pass from the quarterback, trying to turn the corner here on the left-hand side, but never gets out of the backfield because the Indians are very, very fast in there and greet him, and rather rudely they greet him. Eddie Bird is there to make contact, and number 45, Toby Guidry, a few minutes ago. Literally almost did it. All right, Shannon Sanders, the quarterback for the Cardinal of Bridge City. He's operating from about the 20-22. He rears back, finds someone to pass to. That would be Charlie Miller. Miller receives the pass on about the 37-yard line, driven down to the turf immediately. Mark Gasson is there to meet him, and David Hanks, number 70.
Passed by Shannon Sanders.
He just fired it, yeah. On the shotgun formation, Shannon takes 2 steps back, takes the football, rears back, chunks again, but the intended receiver has fallen down. Corey Babin was the man for whom the pass was intended, but the wet turf took its toll, and Reagan Waldy. P&G Indians really showing a stingy defense for this evening's contest. All right, Sanders has got a man in motion, Sean Buchanan. However, the pass goes right over the middle to the end over on the tight right side. That would be Todd Minner. Incomplete. The 38-yard line. They're into the playing field. Third down. It's going to be a shotgun formation again as Sanders takes 4 steps back. Takes the football, rears back, chunks to number 11, Kurt Roy. Roy taking the football, turns, and is immediately met by a whole host of Indians led by Brandon Ullman. Ullman puts his hands around him and says, "No way, Jose." Guidry, deep, and Gasson, deep, waiting for the football from the kicker's toe. Miller controls it, gets an end-over-ender, however, on the dead run. Guidry takes the ball on about the 40, across the 45, across the 50, across the 45, and down to about the 44-yard line inside Bridge City territory before Sean Buchanan is able to run up and thrust him to the turf. 3. Busser brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Let's see what happens. He's got a man split wide to the left. Slot man on the right-hand side is short. He turns, feeds the football first to one man, then turns right around and takes it back from number 20, Toby Fales, and that means Jay Musser is now a runner. He threads his way up the Indians. Musser gives it to the man, bursting through the middle, and across the 30, across the 25, the 20, inside the 20-yard line, and guess who? None other than one of those short backs who has done such yeoman work for the Indians tonight. Heath Hebert carrying the mail for the Indians of P&G. First and 10 for the Indians. The ball placed just outside the 15 as they go to work. Musser on the move again. Less than 2 minutes. Heath Hebert takes the call, threads to his left, then cuts to his right, across the line of scrimmage, inside the 5. Hard charging to about the 4-yard line as a flag on the play. Tremendous broken field running on the part of Heath Hebert. Chad Passett beats him, however, inside the 5, and 20 as Musser brings him up to the line of scrimmage. 2 men behind him are Hebert and Fales. Split him wide to the left. Musser rolls to his right, looking for someone to pass to. Toby Fales in the end zone. Touchdown. Musser to Toby Fales on a beautiful pass play. 25 yards, John. That's right. And Fales takes it over his shoulder into the end zone for a tremendous reception.
Toby does a little bit of everything.
He does, and he does it well. The pass and run covering 25 yards, and the Indians go on the scoreboard with another 6. Waiting for the kick after. Gasson gets his toe into it. It is wide to the left, no good, and that means the Indians then, with those 6 points, brings their score up to 22, and the Bridge City Cardinals, nothing. A minute. Well, Toby Fales is at it again. Come on, folks, he says, let's hear it. And we're ready for the kickoff here in this second quarter of play in the closing moments just prior to halftime. The Indians are ahead 22-0. Gasson puts his toe into a big, deep kick that goes down to Chad Passett. He takes it on his own 6-yard line, moves to his right, trying to find some running room, cuts back to his left, crosses the 20, up to about the 25, and then driven down hard on about the 25 or 26-yard line. Jeff Zampini is the man who has it split wide to the left, and he's got a man split wide to the right. He goes back to pass. He's looking for him. He's got Babin out here in the open. Babin takes the ball on the pass play. Complete, but it is immediately stopped by number 9, Mark Gasson, and the play may have been good for another first down for the Bridge City Cardinals. Yes, it is a first down, and they'll go to work unless the officials don't want to eyeball it, but they say it is. And with 1 minute and 4 seconds, the clock stopping at the end of the play so they can move the chain, Bridge City trying to find a combination, putting something together to see if they can't get back into this contest. Sanders with a shotgun formation, goes back to pass, has no one to pass to, driven down immediately. First man off the stack, Matt Burnett. Flags fly. There may have been too many guys coming in to the tackle after the man was on the ground. Let's see what happens. Nothing intentional. It's just in the activity and excitement of play. That's what I believe that's what it was. After the penalty, the Cardinals will be working from just inside Indian territory on the 49, 1st and 10. From the shotgun, the quarterback rears back, jump, intercepted. Mark Gasson's got the football in his own 40, crosses the 45, across the 50, up to the 45-yard line of the Bridge City Cardinals, driven down at that point. Mark Gasson, astute defense.
The ball was tipped, and Mark Gasson very alertly positioned himself where he could take the tipped football and turn it into an interception and give the Indians possession once again. And John, I believe before that interception, that was probably one of the deepest penetrations of the night so far for the Cardinals of Bridge City.
Yes.
But hold everything,
they have to operate from their own 35, and that's correct. Mark Gasson goes to work. He's got him split wide to the left. Wide to the left. As he rolls to his left, turns looking for someone to pass to. He's got Von Bouton deep. Bouton slides as he catches the football on about the 41-yard line inside Bridge City territory. Beautiful pass, beautiful reception on the part of number 3, Von Bouton. Checking out of the ball game is Bouton. Reagan Andrade checks in for the Indians. Clock is running. Indians quick out of the huddle and up to the line of scrimmage. Gasson and a whole host of others. Let's see what happens as Musser rolls back. He's trying to find someone to whom he can pass. He has to break out of the cup, take the football, tuck it away, and head for the sideline. And he does as he crosses the sidelines inside the 35-yard line and steps out of bounds to stop the clock with still 12 seconds to play.
And Owens are conferring. They tell Musser what to do, and here we go.
Musser gives it to Heath Hebert. Hebert finding some running room. Turns, charges, is hit, rolls around. Breaks that tackle across the 25, inside the 25 to about the 22-yard line before he's finally driven down. That helped him to a tremendous opportunity. It looks like Gasson is going to be trying a field goal. The ball will be placed on about the 30-yard line. He's into it, got his toe into this ball. It looks like it's going to be a little bit short, and the field goal goes incomplete, and the clock runs out, and that's all there is. There isn't any more. Corey Babbitt on the other. Sanders gives to immediately his number 1 running back, and that would be number 34, Chad Fassett. But Fassett's number is also dialed by Mr. Matt Burnett, who snaked through and put a shoulder into him right away. Now the Indians leading 22-0. There's a shift in the backfield for the Cardinals. The ball again to Fassett. Fassett trying right between tackle to tackle, gets across the line of scrimmage for about 1.5 yards, maybe 2. He attained the original line of scrimmage and then picked up a couple more. Remind you that you're listening to KDLF Radio, KDLF Sports, P&G Indians. It's homecoming here at Fort Neches Groves. A lookout pass received on the run, right over the shoulder, crosses the 25, up to about the 30-yard line before he's driven down. Kurt Roy, for whom the pass was intended, caught it over his shoulder on the run, turned the corner, and they have been playing a very stingy defense, these Indians of Fort Neches Groves. Fassett trying to find something to do toward the left side of his line, cannot find anything but purple jerseys. Completely and totally covered up. David Hanks made first contact of the second half of this contest. A change of signals is the quarterback calling right at the present time as he checks it right at the line of scrimmage, looking for a man for whom he may be able to deliver a pass. It trickles out of the outstretched fingers of Corey Babbitt and Gasson. Third down for the Cardinals. Quarterback, Sanders, brings them up to the line of scrimmage. Little screen pass. The pass goes to Bassett. Bassett driven down immediately by a hard-charging Indian defense. Danny Gross is the man who is momentarily in his way. 15. Deep for the Indians. Two men standing on the 40 and the 35. Mark Gasson going behind Toby Guidry, who takes it on the fly at about the 35, up to about the 36, the 37, the 38, the 40. He's tripped down on about the 39-yard line, say the officials, and it's from there they'll go to work. Hector, 15 still to go in this third quarter of play. It's homecoming in Indian Stadium. Heath Hebert gets the call. Heath Hebert breaks out of the secondary into the 50-yard line, across the 50, into about the 45. Bridge City territory before he's driven down. He explodes out of the secondary. Chad Fassett. Musser brings him up to the line of scrimmage. He gives it to Hebert again. Hebert right up the middle following Sosa, Young, and Macon. Goes up to about the 40. Scott Nicholas, slot man wide to the right. Two backs behind the quarterback. They are Fales and Hebert. He fakes first to Hebert, then to Fales, turns, passes right over the middle of the line. Number 47 takes it on the run. Aaron Wilson turns, heads up middle of Main Street, across the 20, inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line before he's driven down at that particular point. So, the Indians on a beautiful pass play. Wilson,
I believe that was his first reception of the evening, John. From
did a good job, too. 1st and 10. The first man through is not carrying the ball. That would be Toby Fales. It's the second man through who's carrying the mail, and that Musser brings his stalwarts up to the line of scrimmage. Long count as he's bowed under. Gives it to Hebert again. Hebert squirting through right under the defender who thought he had tackled him at the helmet. Hebert just ducks under that and grinds it down to about the 10-yard line, but they say his knee touched down on the 12. Defensively for this particular ball game tonight. Faking first to Heath Hebert. Stands up, flicks the pass to Eric Weinert. Complete. Touchdown. Tremendous play. Tremendous play. And the ball traveled about, I'd say 12 yards on the pass and run. Musser to Eric Weinert. A great fake on the part of Musser. And it was good for the touchdown. We're waiting for the point after. Here's the snap. The ball is down. Mark Gasson puts his toe into a kick that is good. 6+1 go into the scoreboard, and it's now the Indians 29, the Cardinals from Bridge City nothing. 7 minutes and 1 second still in the third quarter to play. We'll be back with the kickoff in this third quarter, but first these important words.
Trend in Mid-County Banking. Once you step inside First National Bank Mid-County, you'll see what they're all about. You're a valued customer, and they're glad to see you and have you as a part of their banking family.
It's still in the third quarter of play at homecoming on the reservation this evening. Henry Larcade and John Stevens, Mike Side with you on KDLF Sports. An onside kick tried by the PNG Indians. And the man who takes the ball is Biff Drotti, and Biff gets buffeted quite a bit before he chooses to kneel down on about the 45 and say, look, folks, I didn't intend to get it.
A good job hanging on to it. He deserves some credit.
The quarterback rears back in chunks, and that's the only way to describe what the quarterback, Shannon Sanders, did as he was looking for Charlie Miller. So, 2nd and 10 needed for the Cardinals of Bridge City. Their formation splits them wide right and left on the shift. He goes into a shotgun, does this quarterback, and it is an old Statue of Liberty play, but Mr. Fassett is driven out of bounds on about the 40. Matt Burnett was down there running with him, and Eddie Bird is the man who put a shoulder into him and drove him out of bounds. I know he would much rather have Bird do it than Burnett do it.
I'll bet he would.
And no joke, this Matt Burnett is what you call hot pursuit. He knows defensively what his job is and is out there doing it, ladies and gentlemen.
We had the chance to see him in street clothes today at the little pep rally over at Van Buren Elementary School. And he's a pretty good-sized young man.
I want to tell you something. I was looking, all of these fine athletes from P&G are excellent examples of young manhood because they're in great shape and they do what young people are supposed to do, take care of their minds and take care of their bodies, doing a good job of both. Number 42, Bryce Tyson, checks into the lineup for the Indians of P&G, replacing Thad Stein. So it's going to be second and about 14, maybe almost 15 needed for the Bridge City Cardinal to football. He bows under. The quarterback takes the football, gives it to Facette. Facette trying to run right straight up the middle of Main Street, cannot go. And the reason he can't go, Joey Sosa is the first man who grabs him and split him wide, right and left. The quarterback takes the pass from the center, the snap rather, goes back about 4 steps, looks for someone to pass to. He's got coverage everywhere, but he fires a low pass to Miller, his end, who was split wide to the left. It's incomplete.
A little bit muddy out there.
Yeah, it really is. Miller kicks from his own 24 or 25-yard line. Guidry has to take it over his shoulder and watches it skirt out of bounds after it touches his hands and rolls out of bounds inside the 20. And it's from that point that the Indians will go to work 1st and 10 on this particular series in the third quarter. They lead and will begin on the 10-yard line, not the 18. Do not know the reason for the penalty. I was not paying attention. I was talking peanuts. And let's see what happens as the Indians go to work 1st and 10. The officials, I think, they have it early in the contest. Musser bows under. It's a long count. He's got Hebert and he's got Fales behind him. Fales skirts to his left and waits for a screen pass from Jay Musser. The pass is complete. Fales takes it and meets a defender immediately. I said a short gain, a short loss of about 3. Musser, long count, gives it to the second man through. The second man through is going to be Toby Fales. Fales making up for that, crosses the 10, up to about the 15, maybe the 16-yard line before they click his heels together and drive him to the turf. On Bouton, third down, about 4 needed for the Indians. It's a fake pass, and the delay goes to the runner who is the second man through the middle, and it's number 30. That would be Heath Hebert, who is driven down by Matt Bryant, but not before 25. 1st and 10 for the Indians. Musser, long count. He's got 2 men in an I formation behind him. He gives it to Toby Fales. Toby turns the corner on the right side. It's now a foot race, ladies and gentlemen, across the 45, the 50, across the 40, across the 30, the 20, the 15, the 5. Touchdown. 75 yards, John. 75 yards from Toby Fales. Flying feet. What a beautiful play.
Nobody had a chance.
No.
He outran just about every defender. Well, he outran everybody on offense as well, but nobody had a chance to catch him. He outran everybody on the playing field.
He showed just exactly how fast he was, Henry, by outrunning the secondary who was back there to try to defend against that kind of play. Tremendous play. And we're waiting for the point after. Mark Gasson has Don Bouton holding the snap. It's down. Gasson's toe is in it. The kick is good. It's now the Indians 36. And the Bridge City Cardinals, nothing. A tremendous run on the heels of a tremendous play by Toby Fales. And that ball game being brought to you over KDLF Sports Tonight. 4:09 still to play in the third quarter of play, and the Indians are kicking to the Cardinals. They lead 36-0. The kick is a low one, takes a funny bounce, and goes past the Bridge City Cardinals' Chad Facette, who goes back for the football, picks it up, tries to find some running room around the left-hand side, breaks one tackle, gets past another, gets up to about the 25, 26-yard line before he's ripped down. And any further. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Split them wide right and left. He spins, the quarterback does, feeds the football to Chad Facette, and Facette is held in the grasp of Matt Burnett, who very unceremoniously puts him to the turf. A loss of about 3.
Pointed out at halftime, they've only got a few yards offensively so far this evening. It hasn't changed much.
It's almost the same play, only this time the quarterback chooses to keep, and he rolls to his left looking for someone to whom he might pass. Is driven out of bounds. There's a flag on the play. Toby Gidley, step for step with him, would not let him get anywhere. David Hanks, who's always a stellar defender, was running right along with the quarterback and finally helped to drive him out of bounds. Just inside the 10. Sanders shovels the pass off to Facette, who tries to turn the corner on the left side, is driven out of bounds before he can get up to the line of scrimmage. Eddie Bird, and
I don't know, Jake Burnett's a pretty big enemy.
well, he's not really an enemy, an adversary, perhaps. All right, here we go. The quarterback from Bridge City goes back, trying to find someone that he might pass to. He is sacked in the backfield. All right, this Indian defense is just absolutely wild. Joey Sosa,
Along with the enemy I was just telling you about, Jake Burnett.
sitting on his own goal line, waiting for a snap. He's got it, it's low, puts his toe into a boomer of a kick. Goes back to about the 45-yard line where Gidley gets it and meets a Cardinal at the same time. Who in the world was that?
Number 28.
28? Who is it? Eric Weiner, split wide to the left. And the quarterback has got, in a formation, has got 3 backs there with him. And he gives the ball to Heath Hebert. Hebert literally climbs across the line of scrimmage and down to the 40. As the line of scrimmage drove the defense down to the turf, it's going to be second and short yardage needed for the Indians. He gives it to Hebert again. Hebert squirting across the line of scrimmage, across the 35, down to about the 30. And he's got enough for the first down, I'm sure. Let's see where the officials say his turn. Checking the signals. He's got a slot man wide to the left. Long count. He gives it to the second man who touches him for the ball, and that would be Heath Hebert, who drives across the 30 to about the 26. Scott Nicklaus. And it was Heath Hebert who was scheduled to do the running, but had an injury early in the season. Hebert takes the handoff from Jay Musser on a delay. He goes across the 25, across the 20, inside the 20 for another first down before Chad Facette comes up from his safety position and stops the rambling Hebert from going all the way.
And keep in mind also that if Heath Hebert kind of gets tired, there's another young man ready to step in, Bryce Tyson, who does a good job.
You bet. And or Toby fails anytime.
Oh, Toby's always out there. There's no doubt about
ready.
that.
Split an end wide to the left. This time, I believe, the Indians took a little too much time.
No, that's the end of the quarter.
I'm sorry. It's the end of the quarter, and it's the Fort Neches Groves Indians 36, the Bridge City Cardinals nothing.
We'll brought by a score of 36-0. The Indians own the football, 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 18-yard line. Let's see what Jay Musser and company comes up with. Musser takes the snap, pitches back to Heath Hebert, the trailing back, and Hebert fights his way inside the 25. Inside the 15 down to around the 10-yard line. I think he stopped basically the same offensive lineup that we've seen all evening for the Indians in the ball game right now, as Hebert gets the call once again and fires over the left side of the offensive line on the slant and gets inside the 10 down to about the 6 or 7 yard line. Let's see where it's spotted.
Hank, I don't want to correct you literally, but you know what? Hebert was doing the blocking.
A fine effort, but Mr. Tyson should get the credit. The Indians have a first down, though, as the ball is spotted on the 8. 1st and 10, or 1st and goal, we should say, for the Indians from the 8-yard line, as the handoff goes to the second back through. And let's see if that was Tyson or Hebert.
No,
that was Thon Bouthon. Okay, everybody's getting in on the act.
You bet.
And Bouthon picks up good yardage inside the 5 down to about the 1.5-yard line, 36-0, as the Indians go to work inside the 5-yard line. Musser hands off to, I believe it is Hebert that time. And Hebert is stopped just short of the goal line as the Cardinal defenders rise up to him and stop him just as he crosses the line of scrimmage. So lined up behind Musser are Hebert and Tyson. He has a man split wide to the left side, everybody else in tight. And this time nobody gets the call. He fakes twice and rolls wide to his left side, but Musser is going to be thrown for a loss. He tries to cut back towards the goal, but he meets 3 Cardinal Cardinal defenders who stop him and drive him back. And I think he'll lose a couple of yards on the play. So the Indians will be looking at 4th and goal to go from the Cardinal 3-yard line.
Musser was tackled by a tired number 99 Matt Bryant, who has been playing a whale of a lot of defense here tonight, but just absolutely drove Musser from scoring that particular effort.
Okay, on 4th and 3 at the 3-yard line, the Indians are going for it. Musser lines up his ball club in running formation, and he fakes once, rolls to his right, looking for a man in the end zone, and the ball is batted away. It was intended for number 47 for the Indians, Aaron Wilson, the big tight end, but it's 36-0. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals from their own 3-yard line. And before the play gets underway, the officials stop the ball game as the Indians request a timeout. 10 now for the Cardinals, operating from their own 3-yard line, trailing 36-0. As the handoff goes to Facette, who tries the right side and is met at the line of scrimmage by these fresh Indian defenders. Checking in now defensively is number 80 for the Indians. They have white jerseys, and as they get a little mud on them, it's very, very difficult to determine who's who. Uh-oh. The Cardinal quarterback is back to pass, and he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. And let's see if the officials rule that he was down for another 2 points for the Indians.
Eddie Bird was the man who wrapped him up, and
or else his eyes are better. No, he had the glasses on it. So the Cardinals retain possession, get another shot at it, as the handoff goes to, I believe it's either Spencer Earl or Chad Facette, who finds some daylight straight up the middle. That is Facette, and he picks up good yardage out across the 10 to about the 12.5, maybe 13-yard line. The Cardinal quarterback, Shannon Sanders, has receivers split wide to either side and hands off to Spencer Earl this time, who tries to blast over the right side, following the right guard, Jason Lang, and the right tackle, Jeremy Morrell, and finds a little running room out across the 16, 17-yard line.
Basur on the stop.
Same offensive alignment for the Cardinals. Receiver wide to either side as the handoff goes to the last back through. And I believe this time, instead of Facette, it was Spencer Earl. And he finds a little running room, not too much. Every time we think we've got it lined up in our mind, somebody else checks in defensively. So we'll pick him up as we go along. Pitch back to the trailing back this time by Sanders, a quarterback. And he finds a lot of running room to the left side against the Indian Reserve defensive unit. And moves out across the 30, the 40, the midfield stripe into Indian territory, and is driven out of bounds on the near side of the playing field at the Indian 45.
Jeff Zampini was not going to be outrun by that particular runner and drove him out of bounds.
Okay, Sanders sets up his ball club with the man in the slot to the right. Receiver split wide to either side. Looking for a man in the clear, and he has one on the right flat. And as soon as he takes the ball in, he shakes loose from one Indian defender, but is hit by 3 more, and they bring him down at about the Indian 36. Once again to Shelly Miller, homecoming queen for PNG.
Guidry on the stop on that play for the Indians.
This time Sanders puts a man in motion to the right side and drops back to pass. He's throwing long for that man that was in motion, number 7, Corey Babin, and he has him complete at the 25-yard line on the Indian side of the playing field.
Reagan Walker was right there with him, but when he caught the pass, he fell, Hank, and Walker only had to stand over him and say,
Score of 36-0. The Cardinals own the football. 1st and 10, the ball on the Indian 22-yard line as Sanders sets up his ball club, ready to go to work, takes the snap. The Cardinal quarterback drops back, fires a little screen pass out to the right side, but as soon as the Cardinal receiver takes the ball in, he's dropped by an Indian defender, and that'll be
Danny Gross broke him open like a shotgun,
which is the Indian 25. The noise you hear in the background are the cheerleaders who have moved directly in front of our press box on the center track, and they're cheering on the reserve seat fans here this evening. Okay, the Cardinal quarterback drops back to pass, and as soon as he lets the ball go, one of the big Indian defenders sticks a big paw up there and punts the ball down. I don't know who it was.
Danny Gross, he's everywhere.
Well, he just batted the ball down. The ball had nowhere to go except back down on the ground because he was in there right in the quarterback's face. 3rd and 12 now for the Cardinals from the Indian 25. Everybody in tight. Number 19, Sanders, the Cardinal quarterback, looking for a receiver. He has a man in the open at about the 16-yard line, but he can't hold on to it. It was almost intercepted by number 10, Brandon Ullman of the Indians.
Brandon Ullman was giving us a demonstration of frustration of what the Indian spirit normally does out there. He was doing a dance like you cannot imagine. He was so distraught about not being able to intercept that ball.
He was saying to himself, I should have had it. I should have had it. And perhaps something else he might have been saying.
Oh, they're doing a great job out there.
Well, the Cardinals are going for it on 4th down. They're looking at 4th and 12 at the Indian 25. They line up in scrimmage formation as the quarterback puts a man in motion to the right side, takes a direct snap from center in the shotgun formation, looking for a receiver straight over the middle, and has him in the clear inside the 10-yard line. And had it not been for Mark Gasson bringing down the pass receiver, Corey Babin from Bridge City, it would have been 6 points for the Cardinals.
Fantastic play. Beautiful play on the part of the Bridge City Cardinals. Well-executed pass play.
So the Cardinals, no doubt their deepest penetration of the evening so far, deep in Indian territory with a 1st and goal to go at the 6-yard line. Sanders and his team showing a little fire right now as the Bridge City quarterback takes the snap, but the Indians are blitzing, and they come in, drop the Cardinal quarterback for a loss behind the line of scrimmage, and the ball squirts loose before he hits the ground, and it's recovered by the Indians of PNG.
I believe that Eddie Bird was in on the play, but unless I miss my guess, we had a tremendously great defensive play on the part of Thad Stein, who really would not let the quarterback do anything with the football.
All this taking place at the Indian 12-yard line, and following that fumble recovery, the Indians take over with a 1st and 10 at their own 12. Checking in at quarterback is Brandon Ullman. I'm sorry, Jay Musser stays in the ball game. I thought Brandon was coming in at quarterback. But Musser hands off to Heath Hebert, and Heath, going over left tackle, crosses the 15, the 20, out to about the 23, 24-yard line, and the Cardinals drop him at that point.
Hector Osigar is the gentleman.
At this point in our ball game, I thought the Cardinals had requested a timeout, but instead the officials say, let's just stop for a few moments and move the chains, and then we'll start the clock again.
Matches, Hank. We've got Musser checking out of the lineup, Hebert checking out of the lineup, and Chad Castile and a brand new quarterback.
All right, Brandon Ullman is the quarterback now. I thought he'd come in a little while ago, but he is quarterbacking the Indians now as he hands off to the last back through.
Flags fly everywhere.
Yes. It's difficult when you come in cold sometimes for everybody to get coordinated.
I have to explain to you, the reason I'm having difficulty is the cheerleaders are throwing these little toy footballs into the stands, and it looks like flags flying everywhere, and I was trying to figure out what in the world was going on, and that's what they're doing. These fans are with outstretched hands waiting for a memento of tonight's football game in the form of a miniature football.
Well, that's true, and we understand on 13. 36 for the Indians, nothing for the Cardinals. Ullman calling the signals for the Indians here at the reservation. Long count by Ullman, the quarterback, as he hands off to, let's see, who is that?
That's number 42, Bryce Tyson.
Tyson is in the ball game, right. And he makes a good run. Good effort over the right side offensively for the Indians as he moves out to the 23-yard line.
And we've got that unknown Cardinal, number 73, whose name is not on the program, making the tackle.
Okay. So following that pickup by Mr. Tyson, we are looking now at 2nd and 11 for the Indians. The line of scrimmage is the Indian 23. And more changes in the offensive lineup for the Indians of PNG. Ullman sends a receiver wide to the left side, has 2 backs lined up behind him in the offensive backfield for PNG. And before the play can get underway, I believe the Indians are taking too much time, and the officials call it. And yes, there's the preliminary indication that we'll have 5 yards stepped off against the Indians as
a flock of others. Number 51, Chris Maker.
Yeah, 2nd and 16 now for the Indians operating from their own 18-yard line. As Ullman hands off to, I believe it's Tyson, who meets a lot of resistance at the line of scrimmage. The Cardinals come flying in and drop him for little, if any, gain.
This is very valuable playing time for these young men, Hank, simply because you can tell their timing is really not as sharp as the timing between Musser and some of the others on their handoff, but this is valuable experience.
3rd and 16 now for the Indians. The line of scrimmage is the Indian 20. Leading in tonight's ball game by a score of 36-0. A little over 2 minutes to play. Ullman calling the signals. Has a man to the left side. Pitches back to no one. He fakes once and then drops back to pass, but the offensive blocking for the Indian forward wall breaks down, and they drop Ullman for a loss back around the 12 or 13-yard line. And this should be the second victory for PNG as they prepare to travel to Nederland next week to meet the Bulldogs. Indians lining up in punt formation. Snap from center is high, and the punter for PNG, number 44, is Eddie Bird, standing on his own goal line. Tries to field the slippery ball, loses his footing, falls down, and I believe the officials are going to say that all this occurred inside the 5 and around the 2 or 3 yard line.
I'm not quite sure what the officials have indicated.
They're doing something else with the football. And relieve Mark Gasson if necessary. So let's see what Castile can do with the ball as Toby Fales lines everybody up, says, okay, kick it away. And kick it he does. A long, high kick over the Cardinals' heads at the 25-yard line. Facette chases the ball back inside the 10, gets a hand on it, brings it back up across the 15, the 20, and the Indians drop him at about the 25-yard line.
Craig Miller, number 85, drilled him.
A minute 51 remaining in the football game. Our score, the Indians 36, the Cardinals 2, and the Cardinals own the football with a 1st and 10 from their own 25. And athletes, and hopefully they'll have a good season for the rest of this year. Of course, we don't want them to win tonight, but
they got a big ball club, too.
Yes, they do.
A little extracurricular activity down there.
Yeah, the Cardinals got a little too anxious, jumped offside, so they'll be penalized 5 yards. A procedure penalty as the line of scrimmage is moved back to the go, but as John said, it's worth it because they're getting some valuable playing time. And Sanders, the Cardinal quarterback, fires a quick pass across the middle, complete, I believe it was, to Kurt Roy.
Exactly.
He had to go down low to get the ball, and I was waiting for an indication from the officials as to whether or not he caught it or trapped it, and they say it was a clean catch out about the 26-yard line.
Brandon Ullman had the chance to do the honors defensively for the Indians. Did well.
Quickly up to the line of scrimmage come the Cardinals as Sanders takes a quick snap, short count, and he's looking for a receiver, can find no one to throw to, decides to tuck it under and run it himself, and moves across the 25 and is stopped at about the 30, or the 32-yard line is where the officials are going to place the ball down.
Thad Stein.
So give him credit for a 5 or 6 yard pickup, and call it 3rd and 9 now for the Cardinals at that point, at the 32. A quick pass over the middle from Sanders to number 11, I believe it is, Kurt Roy, and that should be close to a 1st down for the Bridge City Cardinals. Yes, it is. They move the chain, spot the ball at the Cardinal 39, and set up a 1st and 10 for Bridge City at that point.
Brandon Ullman submarines him as soon as he catches the football.
But the clock continues to run as Sanders takes a snap in shotgun formation, looking for a receiver. Can find no one in the clear. He eludes a tackler, throws one over the middle, but is intercepted by Mark Gasson, and Gasson gets a block. Crosses the 50 into Cardinal territory. The 40, the 30, the 20, gets another block. Inside the 10, the 5, touchdown on a fine interception by Mark Gasson with some tremendous blocking and some excellent running by the Indian defensive back. And they put 6 more points on the scoreboard. I was looking for a flag, and I didn't see one, so everything was clean, no problems. And thanks to a great defensive effort by Mr. Gasson, no, let's hold everything. Hold on just a second. Cardinal 37. Ullman is a quarterback. He has a receiver split to either side as he hands off to, who is it? Bryce Tyson. And Tyson gets the block, crosses the 30, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and into the end zone. A tremendous effort by Mr. Tyson. Bryce Tyson, with some good blocking up front, finally adds that 6 points to the scoreboard and tells Mr. Mark Gasson, Mark, that's for what they did to you a while ago. Or Mark Gasson, he'll spot the ball at the 10-yard line. Good snap from center. The ball is down. The kick is in the air, and it's good. So with 32 seconds remaining in tonight's football game, our score now reads the Indians of PNG 43, the Cardinals of Bridge City 2. A little rest. So Steele got a good kickoff a while ago. He had a high, long kick, so he does a good job. Another one.
Ryan Drawdy was doing Fail's job. He was telling everybody to get up and shout.
I believe Steele puts one way downfield. It bounces out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. For the Indians, 43, the Cardinals 2. The Cardinals have one last shot at it. First and 10 from their own 30.
He kicked a bodacious kick.
Yes, he did. Okay, the handoff goes to number 22 this time, Sean Buchanan of the Cardinals, and he finds a little daylight out across the 35 to about the 37 or 38-yard line.
Everybody in the country were there to meet him.
And the clock continues to run as the Cardinals line up quickly, trying to get one more play off as Sanders goes back to pass, fires one incomplete to the right side, and the incompletion stops the clock with 9 seconds remaining, and they'll have one more shot at it.
His intended receiver was covered. He just sort of reared back and chunked in a hurry to get rid of the football so he could stop the clock.
9 seconds remaining. As we said, our score is 43-2. The Indians out in front. And on the final play of the ball game, Sanders takes the football, throws a quick one out to the right side. That's complete. And the Cardinal receiver is dropped immediately as he crosses the 45 and about the 47, and they call a timeout to stop the clock.
Ullman was the man who did the duty for the